Morning, fellow zombies. Are we alive yet? Are we awake yet? 6:44 in the morning, West Coast time. It's the 20th of February 2024. I'm trying to get something loaded up on the internet. A bit of a clip showing how we're doing in Roseman right now. The weather report. So this particular zombie here is still waking up. I had about maybe a few hours of sleep. Not the usual 1 or 2 hours, but maybe about 3 or 4 hours, which is a rarity. I hardly ever get that kind of sleep. I don't. And if I'm lucky enough, so for right now, I'm getting a. Type this shit out. Yeah, you're hearing a commercial in KTLA again. Yeah, bit of a question mark. Let me just get this damn thing to work right. Okay, public location. Alrighty, that should do it. Yeah, they're talking about white alligator in the Illinois Zoo. Don't feed the animals. Well, right, don't get near the animals. Uh, so I'm putting in a short. I'm putting in a short. Okay. It's wet. It's sprinkly. It's misty a bit. We still got weather all day. So how am I doing this morning, and how did I survive yesterday? That we switch over to the diary of the griever named John Weaver, which would be me. Okay. Yeah, I was testing and working on the earbuds. So my headset got contaminated with something. So didn't want anything crawling around in the ear. It'd be very weird and oogie feeling. No, I vegged on something. I turned on something that was totally inappropriate, totally bloody, and wondering why the hell this damn thing was out there about 10 years ago, scaring the crap out of people, giving people nightmares. But if they were dark comic fanatics, including Marvel or DC or both, they would appreciate the series. Until management came by and screwed things up, so they only had 5 seasons. It should have been on other cable channels. It should have been. 1 second here. Sorry, I didn't want to screw that up on you guys. The other computer I'm looking at right now is KTLA doing the weather factors right now. They're doing the weather shots in traffic areas. Uh, I tried to do an earlier video talking about we're getting weather this month and probably next month. So today and tomorrow we'll probably get drowned again. In San Fernando Valley, where I used to live in a long time ago, this would not surprise me much. I got reporters these days are acting as if it's um, unheard of to have the Sepulveda Basin that we have out there flooding out. All right, shall we proceed over to a search engine and dip into the satellite terrain view of the San Fernando Valley, shall we? Air Auto. I shall do this. Uh, Let us see what we will see. We will proceed over to the Google Maps. If any one of you have a shortcut on your screen, consider yourselves fortunate, sirs and madams, and whatnots. Haha. Kindly click on the link, or just type it out, maps.google.com. If it, the hottest way is the one you want to go. Good lord. Alrighty. Now, since I've already clicked on my shortcut link, yeah, kind of a voice to drive me crazy. Yeah, I'm feeling alright. I gotta get myself awake and going in about an hour or less because I've got cleanup to do, and then hopefully these guys are coming in today. And if they're not coming in today, nap time. Nothing wrong with taking naps. Okay, going on the other computer and hitting the satellite view again once more. Mister, Mister, shall we go over there, sir? Igor like. Igor like. Igor. Yeah, it's not October and I'm having that kind of a conniption fit already. Don't ask me to get into the world of the theatrics. No, not this kid. No, I go crazy when I go crazy, and I'll make the sound effects when I can. So scrolling the little wheel on the mouse here. I'm usually going widening a shot or narrowing it down. So I'm widening it and then maneuvering the mouse when I can over to. I'm gonna just get this damn thing working here. San Fernando Valley. I said something here. I said San Fernando Valley. We can get all academic a little bit later on this one. Can we go to the San Fernando Valley? Thank you very much. Let me show you something about the San Fernando Valley. It's been back home for 30 years. They were talking about. Get into that regular one. Yeah, well, it's that kind of a morning for me anyway. I mean, yesterday should have been the day I would have been going emotionally, um, breaking down left and right. An anniversary of my mother's passing about 11 years ago. I should have been crying out my eyeballs left and right, but I did get a session or two in earlier in the morning. But the rest of the day, I was just getting myself deluged with a television show that was better than anything else, and I'll talk about that in a few. On this one, regarding the map, there's this green spot in the, how shall we say, the middle bottom of the San Fernando Valley, going along Santa Monica's and Santa Cruz. I know it's allergy season or whatever it is. So sinuses. It's a constant. Sorry. You'll see this golf course, huge golf course, but it's not a golf course. It's a catch basin. You'll see a line going through it diagonally, coming from northwest quadrant all the way down to the southeast quadrant, with a slasher down this one. This is the area that they try to catch as much water for the San Fernando Valley because they don't want anywhere. There are little sections of the San Fernando Valley that actually do get flooded out. Roxford, Law Canyon, or somewhere along Sun Valley area. San Fernando, we get flooded out a little bit. Certain streets or certain areas that if the landscape, the topography is a bit wavy, you've got pockets of liquid there. 405 gets flooded uh, between Van Owen and right by the 101 freeway in that section on some occasions. Closer to Burbank Street in Oxnard, they would definitely get more flooded because of a dip in there. And never could quite get that dip fixed throughout the years. But it's a pocket that they actually have flooded areas, and Caltrans would put a street sign saying this is flooded out. I think I talked about this one a long time ago. The San Fernando Valley, I mean, in its heyday, before we had the urbanization happening like crazy and all the landscape of people moving into the place, it was farmland, an airport. Um, World War II, we actually had a military base out there, training people how to fly, and this is basically agricultural. Most of the areas. There had been other little residential communities, but not as much and densely packed as we have it out there. And throughout the ages, the sprawl became the norm. Farms just decimated, not the farms, but the urbanization and urbanization had decimated the agricultural business. We had uh, citrus production going on out there, orange groves, lemon groves, different fruits that we actually had out there. I miss those days. I'm born in a man of a time well advanced. I think I would deal with the agricultural. But I never had a green thumb on me anyway, so just keyboard. We had lost in the past 2 or 3 years of a park that actually was owned by the public but then sold off to a private enterprise. He's trying to build up more and more commercial and residential by taking away more of a park that actually had agricultural on it. So it's like completely wiped out of the whole place. Speaking of agriculture, because of the topography of the valley and that little area, they had put the flood zone, the LA channeled river through it. The the focus all the water that they get and captured out of the valley and down towards the rest of Southern California to get into the ocean for the dumping. And this area would be constantly flooded. It would be constantly flooded. It would be the channel of all the floodwater in the San Fernando Valley as it could, just to get it out so it doesn't flood anywhere else. There had been days they were talking about this thing when we actually had storm systems coming in. They were trying to get their weather satellite technology updated and getting the Doppler systems going on. We had weather forecasters predicting rain when we actually did get it in sporadic area times. And every time we would have the heavy downpour coming in, it was always between Victory and Oxnard because that was the basin that we actually had in there between the 405 freeway and almost by next door to the Spalada Boulevard, all the way over to at least White Oak. Now, I'm a guy who used to live there for 38 years, so I'd seen a lot of changes happening in San Fernando Valley. A lot of it I don't like these days. A lot of landmarks and stores and chains and other places gone and other homes. The dam area hadn't changed much. And in certain times when we actually had dry times, it would be a home for the homeless out there. And then when the rains came, these guys didn't realize it or didn't care, but they always get caught up. We had to develop techniques in the LA County and actually in LA City of how to deal with rescues. They had to develop techniques and specialized teams to rescue people in our artificial river system, the swift water rescue um, squads that we actually had. So every time I kept saying the weather forecasters today, if they actually lived in the San Fernando Valley or had been around it, they wouldn't have been surprised about the flooding out there as much, but they kept trying to show that they're surprised about it. That is, it's getting flooded out there. It's getting flooded out there. And I'm thinking to myself, every time I keep seeing these weather forecasters, actually, these news reporters going outside, I'm, t- I'm, I'm looking at these guys and I want to laugh at them saying, the valley is doing what it's doing. We already been prepared for this thing a long time ago. We got a flood basin. Why are we freaking? Why are we freaking? It just drives me crazy. Okay, getting back to what happened yesterday. I had been freaking for a long while how to deal with anniversaries. The larger the anniversary, I think the more stress it was putting upon me, or I'm putting upon myself, in order to deal with the emotional onslaught. I had to find some way to get past the damn thing. Now, if I was still going to college, I would have been focusing on schoolwork and it wouldn't have been hitting me as bad, but I'd still get triggered anyway. And if I was watching some of the shows that I'd already finished watching and waiting for the new seasons to come up, they would trigger me a great deal. Now, last night, they had the emotional tribute to David McCullum. David McCullum was an actor, had been a British actor that had been in American and British staples on television for a long time. I remember watching him in this old 60s film, actually, series, when they repeated it in American markets. The Man from Uncle. Not John Saxon, what was it? Oh, good lord. What was his other partner on that one? I'm losing it. I know I can see the face on it. Trying to get the actor's name on this one. Oh, good lord. That wasn't it, you idiot. I didn't want the movie, I wanted the damn TV. Here we go. That was it. Robert Vaughn, Napoleon Sulla, and Ilya Nikoya, or I don't know his character's name. David McCullum played Ilya, and Robert Vaughn played Napoleon. These guys were super spies. And this was a show that lasted maybe a few seasons in the British, but came out here to America. And we had a lot of people falling in love with this one. In fact, it spawned out a season or two of The Girl from Uncle, another female agent. But David's been in there on theater and in television. When he landed the biggest gig of his life, NCIS, he was the medical examiner, Ducky. World renowned, or worldly traveled anyway, character. Ends up at a government investigative service that dealt with high crimes. And then you see a murder somewhere regarding U.S. Navy or U.S. Marines or anybody else. He would be the one doing the autopsy and being part of the team. And for almost a couple of decades, this guy had been part of American lexicon. Well known and well loved actor and character. They had an episode last night that I didn't see. I saw part of it. I knew the lead up was coming in, and I just said, no, I'm not dealing with this. I can't deal with this yet. So I continued to watch this bloody thing called Gotham. And I said before, back in a decade ago, Fox put out this dark comic police procedural thing with a lot of drama with the characters, gruesome cartoon like characters who really relished doing bad things. God, when Dark Comics came out, I think back in the 80s, it was just a that was just something that got onto with a lot of comic readers, and it just stayed with us. So yeah, when you get used to the blood and gore, but sometimes I couldn't deal with it as much. So I had to keep looking away, but I wanted something to keep my brain occupied. I not just turn into a mass murderer here. We are going to turn into a mass murderer because we're watching too much of this cartoon stuff. Yeah, go into a crazy character. No, thank you. But I can do that. I can do that. I just choose not to. Anyway, I thought that would just distract me because I wouldn't have to think about it. I wouldn't have to feel about it. I wouldn't have to be triggered. And the triggers usually would get me. I got trigger words for that. I'm doing a hell of a lot of these videos, so I know that when the triggers are hit, they're building up momentum until something innocuous comes up, and then I go off. Weepy. Not weepy. I'm doing a thunderstorm at this point. So, yeah, I got triggered. It wasn't exactly a major trigger thing regarding my own emotions of loss and grieving and mourning and everything else, even though you'd see people losing lives left and right, and whoever the loved ones were, well, they didn't show on them. They didn't show the after effects or anything else. No, you just want to catch this serial killer, murderer, whoever he is, because we got to show blood, we got to show guts, we got to show everything else going on, right? Fox was very dark a while ago. Fox TV, just very dark. But maybe it was needed to get me past the point where I didn't want to think or feel about the traumatic situation happening. I know I got triggered this morning. If there was a thing called family, the pressure would be starting. I know that the subconscious would get that filtered, and then it starts up. If I happen to watch any family related shows at this point, or people feeling the loss of loved ones, I'll know about that one there too. If I happen to see the series 911, because I know it's family oriented, or 911 Lone Star, it's also family oriented. It's all family related and oriented, despite the fact the rescues and the medical emergencies are grosser than shit. Remember when they had the emergency TV series back in the early 70s? That's about 4 or 5 seasons. And you would see the Los Angeles County Fire Department testing out the program called paramedics. They wouldn't show much blood or anything else on that one. Not like these days, anyway. These days they had to get more and more grosser. I think more and more realistic how the rescues are. Yeah, how to really make you sometimes the words kind of escape me. I know the words, but sometimes I'm having a trouble trying to pronounce them. Have to get used to it. Once you get used to the blood and gore and shock value, then it doesn't bother you as much, right? It still bothers me. It still does. Anyway, I was binge watching it all the way through midnight. and then slept. I didn't sleep, and I didn't dream about. Um, Let me rephrase that. I didn't dream about anything like I'm turning into a mass murderer and ready to go after people because I'm so crazy and insane and I should be belonging in Arkham at this point. No, that didn't happen. That did not happen. No. And I was knocked out. I was just sleeping. And actually, I was sleeping and having adventures in there about not worrying about anything but just exploring different things and places. Then I woke up realizing I'm shivering in my damn bed because I didn't put enough blanket on me. And I kept shifting my body around, but every once in a while I'll wake up, shift, and then go back to sleep. It happens. But yeah, I feel like I want to go back to bed and sleep some more. But emotionally, I'm fine, which is weird because normally I don't feel as fine as much. But I don't feel triggered. I don't feel pressured. I don't feel like I'm crying my eyeballs out at this point. It's weather we've got out here that would probably give me that kind of a trigger because when Ma died 11 years ago, it was rainy. It was raining. So I associate rain with my mother's death these days. And it would leave me depressed. The weirdest damn thing is this morning, I am not. Except I'm going to be stressed out a little bit because I got to get this place, straightened up a little bit more. Get things put into the dishwasher and get them done in a few minutes after I do this recording here. But I just wanted to let people know, and probably my therapist, that currently right now I don't feel the stress and pressure except for management coming through the door with Orkin to do their constant useless bug spraying in this place. I gotta get out of here. There's no other place for me to live. And everything else I've got right now is contaminated by bug. Bug over here, bug over there, bug crawling all over the damn place. So, if you happen to watch my videos and you happen to see any things crawling around a bit, that's not an optical illusion. That's bug war. And I'm losing. I'm losing the bug war in these bastards. Sometimes you just have to go for a tactical retreat. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys later.